One Piece Odyssey. Anime adaptations usually have a terrible reputation for being cheap cash grabs, but the production value here is actually shocking. It plays out like a massive, big-budget JRPG with a surprisingly deep turn-based combat system, where positioning heavily dictates who lives or dies. The pacing in the mid-game can definitely drag, asking you to backtrack a bit too often, but getting to explore these incredibly detailed 3D environments with the entire crew feels incredibly authentic to the source material. Seeing a massive $40 RPG hit the $10 mark means you are getting an absolute mountain of story and combat for the cost of lunch. Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. Making moral choices in video games is usually pretty simple, but deciding who lives and dies in a cursed 17th century wilderness will actually make you sweat. Playing as two ghost hunters, one of whom is ironically a ghost, you swap between physical combat and spirit magic in real time. The combat animations can feel a little stiff during boss fights. However, the writing and the sheer weight of your investigations are incredible. Taking a $50 massive narrative RPG and slicing it down to $15 is exactly the kind of steal you dig through Steam sales to find. Songs of Silence. Strategy games usually demand a massive time commitment before they get fun. This completely ignores that rule by blending heavy tactical decision-making with fast-paced auto-battler combat. You arrange your armies and play cards to trigger massive, devastating abilities in real time, watching beautifully animated units clash in battles that resolve in minutes instead of hours. The Art Nouveau visual style is gorgeous, but the real draw is how completely it respects your time. Picking this up for around $13 gives you an incredibly addictive loop that strips out all the boring micromanagement and gets right to the explosive tactical payoffs. We Were Here Together. Co-op games rarely test your actual communication skills like this. You and a friend are physically separated in a frozen wasteland, relying entirely on in-game walkie-talkies to solve wildly complex escape room puzzles. One person has the clues, the other has the mechanism, and you have to describe bizarre symbols to each other while the clock ticks down. It will absolutely test your patience with your gaming partner, especially when they completely mispronounce a crucial detail. Grab a friend and split the cost, because getting an experience this perfectly designed to ruin friendships for under $4 is an incredible deal. Spirit City Lo-Fi Sessions. Calling this a game feels a little weird, but it might actually be the most useful thing on this list. It's essentially a highly customizable focus tool wrapped inside a cozy character creator. You set real-world timers for studying or working, build a relaxing environment, and unlock pets and cosmetics just by being productive in real life. If you struggle with ADHD or just getting basic tasks done, having a little digital buddy keeping you on track is surprisingly effective. Snagging a tool that literally helps you focus better for $6 pays for itself the first time you actually finish your work on time. Breathedge. Imagine trying to survive the vacuum of space, but your primary engineering tool is an immortal chicken. This takes the addictive survival loop of managing oxygen and building massive bases, then injects it with a totally absurd sense of humor. You're constantly cobbling together ridiculous gadgets from spaceship wreckage just to survive another 5 minutes. The late-game chapters do get surprisingly linear compared to the amazing open-ended start. Even so, slashing 90% off the price tag makes grabbing this survival nightmare for under $3 a ridiculously smart move for anyone who loves hoarding scrap metal in zero gravity. Xenonauts 2. Modern tactical games often hold your hand, but this throws you directly into a brutal, unwinnable Cold War against an alien invasion. You have complete control over a global defense network, shooting down UFOs and sending expendable soldiers into highly destructible tactical maps. The learning curve is absolutely brutal, and the interface feels incredibly dense at first, but the panic of losing your best sniper to a blind shot through a collapsing wall creates stories you'll remember for years. Paying $20 for a tactical sandbox this deep practically guarantees you'll sink hundreds of stressful, highly rewarding hours into saving the planet. Deadzone Rogue. Every single run in this shooter feels like gambling with your life. Dropping into hostile territory, you loot everything not nailed to the floor, trying to extract before a stray bullet wipes your entire inventory. The gunplay is tight and aggressive, forcing you to constantly push forward instead of hiding in corners. You'll definitely experience some frustrating deaths due to the brutal enemy spawns, but that crushing difficulty just makes a successful extract feel insanely euphoric. Catching this at a 50% discount makes the punishing learning curve hurt a lot less, leaving you with a highly replayable loop for around $12. Judgment Apocalypse Survival Simulation. Building a colony is tough enough without the literal armies of hell trying to eat your survivors. Managing resources and base defenses takes a dark turn when your tech tree involves researching dark magic and equipping scavengers with holy water. Balancing food production with demonic rituals creates a weirdly addictive management loop. The graphics are undeniably basic and rough around the edges, yet the deep simulation mechanics absolutely hook you. Paying $7 for a colony sim that lets you fight off the apocalypse with sniper rifles and pentagrams is an incredibly smart use of your wallet. Galaxy Burger. Running a fast food joint for aliens who demand completely ridiculous ingredients is pure chaotic comfort food. The physics-based cooking means you're constantly dropping weird space pickles on the floor while rushing to assemble towering, structurally unstable burgers. It perfectly balances cozy vibes with complete kitchen panic. The progression system is pretty straightforward without much deep strategy. Still, grabbing this highly polished physics toy for under $6 provides a shocking amount of chaotic, laugh-out-loud entertainment when you just need to unwind after a long day. Planet Zoo. The level of micromanagement available here is genuinely terrifying in the best way. You're not just placing cages, you're terraforming rivers, tweaking the specific humidity of a reptile house, and managing the genetic diversity of your animal populations. The pathing system for guests can be incredibly finicky when trying to build curved roads. Despite that minor frustration, the creative freedom is limitless. Watching a massive $45 simulation game crater down to $2 and some change is the kind of pricing error you buy immediately before they change their minds. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Living in the mud and dirt of medieval Europe has never felt this ruthlessly authentic. The swordplay forces you to actually learn the physics of armor and leverage, meaning a single peasant with a pitchfork can end your life if you get sloppy. Getting arrested because you forgot to wash the blood off your clothes before talking to a merchant is a perfect example of how wildly reactive this world is. Securing a massive, highly anticipated $60 RPG for under $24 is an incredibly smart investment for anyone craving serious immersion. Farm Manager 2021. Forget cozy life sims, this is hardcore agricultural capitalism. You're managing crop rotations, hiring seasonal workers, negotiating with veterinary clinics, and praying a random drought doesn't bankrupt your entire operation. Fixing broken tractors while crop prices plummet creates a surprising amount of financial tension. The tutorials are honestly terrible at explaining the complex late-game supply chains. However, figuring out how to build a massive cheese monopoly will wildly hook you. Scooping up this deeply addictive spreadsheet simulator for less than $3 will easily eat dozens of hours of your weekend. Phantom Bridge. Controlling giant mechs is cool, but knowing exactly what your enemy will do 5 seconds before they do it feels like cheating in the best way. The combat relies on a timeline system where you predict enemy movements, allowing you to orchestrate cinematic moments where you slide out of the way of a missile barrage while returning fire. The campaign map management can feel a bit repetitive between major battles, yet the core tactical puzzle of editing the future never gets old. Grabbing this brain-bending tactical loop for $12 easily offers more unique mechanics than most full-priced strategy titles. Watch Dogs 2. San Francisco is your personal, highly illegal playground here. Most open-world cities feel like cardboard movie sets, but this one actually reacts when you mess with it. You can forge a gang war by hacking someone's phone to frame them for a crime, then call the cops on the gang members and sit on a roof watching the chaos unfold. The driving physics are admittedly floaty pretty hard, but the sheer amount of systemic freedom totally makes up for it. Dropping from $50 down to roughly the price of a gas station coffee is absolute madness for an open world this dense. Getting hundreds of hours of chaos for under $3 is an incredible bargain. Wartales. Nobody cares if you save the world. Here, they only care if you can pay your mercenaries on time. Leading a band of absolute scumbags through a gritty, plague-infested world means you're constantly deciding whether to steal food to survive or turn in wanted criminals for bounty money. Catching wild boars to fight alongside you in brutal tactical combat is a strangely viable strategy. The sheer amount of walking between towns can drag the pacing down slightly, but snagging this completely open-ended mercenary sandbox for under $10 guarantees endless stories.